I'm sure you'll sit over there and say you still have a chance, but
We're not talking about that yet, man. Stick to the script, man.
in my opinion, today we saw a season end.
What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of the Better Blue Podcast, brought to you by yours truly, James Michael McAdoo. This is episode 18, coming to you after a rough, tough L.
You're not even gonna plug me. You said brought to you by James Michael
and my
McAdoo.
brother
on the other side of the couch.
My brother, man, my good friend, my comrade over here in the trenches on the other side of the world. We woke up this Sunday morning, got to watch the greatest rivalry in sports, college sports, the second installment.
8:30 a.m. jump ball.
Yeah. Kids were eating good.
Yeah.
If you haven't, check us out. We're on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. We're on all platforms, the Better Blue Podcast. Give us a subscription. Hit us in the comments. Show us some love. Like, share. Tell your granny. Tell your babysitter, tell, the milkman. Because we're growing. Shout out to all of our followers, everybody that's been with us since day one. We just hit 1K.
1,000 subscribers on YouTube, baby.
I'm getting a lot of love from y'all on the reviews on Spotify podcasts and Apple Podcasts. We appreciate that. We're a podcast for the people, by the people. We out here grinding. Just built this off of our love for Carolina and our hate for Duke. So with that being said, I'm feeling the energy. So let's just jump right into it, man. How you feeling?
Today I wore all black for this podcast.
Yeah. RIP to my credit card bill. Y'all about to run up the tab again.
We were kind for dinner the first time.
Y'all were. CPK was, man, take me back. That was nice.
Yeah.
I'll gladly pay for that, though. Yeah.
Man, that wouldn't be
the flights to get there. I can't, but
yeah. We, I think I'm sure you'll sit over there and say you still have a chance, but
we're not talking about that yet, man. Stick to the script.
In my opinion, today we saw a season end. So out of respect,
is that why you wore all black?
That's why I
didn't realize
out of respect, I wore all black. Because I figured you'd be in a pretty tough place.
It was. I'm not gonna lie. It was tough going to practice after that L, and you got the camera all up in my face, man. How you feeling?
You didn't have much to say. I hope you have some more to say for the podcast.
We need boundaries, man. We need to learn how to keep our rivalry, keep our podcast out from interfering with our workspace, man.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna talk to PR about that, HR about that, man.
HR.
I'm gonna file a complaint.
I don't think you'll hear back.
Lindsay, get your husband. Yeah, it was tough. We wanted to win that one. The stage was set, even with this season being such a roller coaster. You had the feeling, I had the feeling as a Carolina fan that if we could have gotten tonight's game, that would have kind of allowed us to maybe, capture lightning in a bottle one more time going into the ACC tournament. But I don't know. I'm not a part of the committee. I'm on the outside looking in. Hubert, after the game, kind of said that he didn't want to roll with the narrative that this team has to win 4 in a row. Who knows? The UVA game definitely helped us. When we talked before, they had those 4 games, and we said the UVA game would have been the one that we would have been okay with dropping if we had got the other 3. So now it's kind of reversed, and now we're in a tough spot, Why not win 4 in a row? But tough, I don't know if it's ever been done before. I think Virginia Tech might have done it last year, actually.
Yeah, I think they did, right?
I think they did, actually. Yeah. So kudos to them. Kudos to the guys up in Blacksburg, any Hokie fans listening. But it was another 2 unranked teams. Nasty game.
Nasty.
Not a lot of highlights. Caleb Love almost had one nice highlight dunk, but it just wasn't, ton of foul trouble. On the Duke side, you had Lively sitting early. You had Whitehead, who, couldn't get into a rhythm at all. And he didn't play in the first, matchup So this was kind of his first taste. And then on the Carolina side, Nance got into trouble. Armando got into foul trouble. Just no type of rhythm. Do you want to talk numbers at all?
Yeah, but first I just want to rewind just to a mindset thing, for especially for the Carolina guys. I would assume that, we talk about in the Duke-Carolina rivalry, each game is its own individual thing, and it doesn't really matter the situation of the season. It doesn't once you step on the floor. Yep. But do you think that – I would venture to guess that John – I have no knowledge of that he did this specifically, but either the players knew this or John said to the players, we're in a position here where we can obviously go into the March Madness on a 6-game win streak now. Yeah. That's the longest win streak of Duke's season, which is meaningful. But also you can kind of – I'm joking with the all black, but you're putting them to bed.
We talked about this. Didn't we talk about this one time in the locker room? Just like, hey, we don't know if he would have said that, but that adds another layer to this game. That was something that they probably knew. Hey, if we win this game, not only is it senior night, for Armando, Leaky, Pete Nance, there was a walk-on. I apologize, sir. Your name is escaping me at this moment.
They must have celebrated Caleb Love leaving too, right?
Nah, man. He'll have his time.
Well, where I'm going with that is, I would assume from the Duke perspective that was in the mindset.
Added incentive.
Do you think, and when you watch that game, do you think Carolina was playing as if their season was on the line? I'm not saying they didn't play hard.
Yeah.
And, hey, sometimes you have a bad shooting game. They shot 30% from the field, 21% from three.
I didn't get that feeling.
I didn't get
watching the game, because I really felt like, just like in the first game, I felt like if Carolina just came out and played, no pun intended, because we'll get into the Manscaped ad later. Balls to the wall. We'll get into that later. Shout out to Manscaped. They played balls to the wall. That Duke team just couldn't hang with them. And we let them, hang around, and we took the lead, late. And once again, similar to the first game, we just went ice cold, and couldn't make shots. And we were not helping ourselves because we were taking some very difficult shots. But we also had a lot of shots in and around the rim. But, kudos to Duke, man. Kudos to y'all going, into the NCAA ACC tournament. I think y'all get a double bye.
Yeah, double bye.
Yeah,
as the 4 seed.
As the 4 seed. And we'll talk about that in a little bit later. But just a letdown. The kids didn't want to lose. Hubert didn't want to lose. The staff didn't want to lose. You saw the atmosphere. You had, sold out Dean Dome. Roy was in the building, and like I said, you never want to lose on senior night because that is those guys' last game, and you always want to send your seniors out on a good note. So, tough, but we got to move forward. It's not, you wearing all black, but we might have a pulse. We might have a pulse. We might be able to.
I was the one that said last week, you're not dead until you're dead.
We ain't dead until you're dead. Yeah. I got hope, man. And with this group, you never know.
That's true. That is true.
You never know, man.
Just from a statistical, looking at Carolina's
crazy stats, like Leaky Black shot the ball 16 times. He's been playing really well and shooting the ball really well, but tonight just wasn't his night. Caleb Love was 3 for 12 from the field, 0 for 6 from 3. RJ Davis was a bright spot for us. He was 3 for 5 from 3. Pete Nance, again, nothing much going for him.
Actually, the one shot Pete hit in the second half, that pick and pop three, was the one point of the game where I felt like, Carolina might have taken the momentum here.
Yeah, when he hit that. Armando, in 31 minutes, he still gave you 17 and 11, but that's who he is.
Yep.
He rolls out of bed and walks into a double-double.
I thought Duke did a good job generally. He did get to the foul line, shot 10 free throws, but we talked a little bit about after the game. They did a good job sending bodies at them,
using their length,
double teams, and when you have when Leaky's struggling shooting the ball, Caleb's struggling shooting the ball, you get it out of Armando's hands, and guys aren't knocking shots down, but
they were just daring us to shoot. Like literally every time he was touching the ball in the lane. They're just swarming to him. And it's tough, to be passing out of a double, triple team.
It's funny. Caleb still, he didn't have a good game shooting the ball.
Yeah.
There's a stretch there. He took a bad shot and sat for a while in the second.
5 minutes.
For 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But it is funny. I guess probably because in the national championship game he hit that big shot against us. In those moments, I was worried.
Really?
Which is amazing because he has shot poorly all year. But I still had that concern. Duke-wise, Filipowski, Kyle, K-Flip came through big time.
He did. He doesn't take the foot off the gas.
No.
Hitting the boards relentlessly. He's not.
5-0 boards.
Triple green light is going up. And the offense suits him.
Yep.
He gets the ball in his spots, and he goes to work.
I thought he played very well. Proctor was solid.
He paced He had 9 and 9 and a half.
Yep. And finished with 22 and 13.
Yeah, Proctor's really growing up, 18-year-old. We talked about him way back in the beginning. I think he's going to be a very intriguing pro prospect. Whitehead still, you just maybe, who knows, man? Who knows? Maybe he gets hot. ACC Tournament, NCAA Tournament. Definitely, Shire rode his horses. Even with Lively going down, he still was only, 8 deep. And Grandison, I don't even think he played in this. I don't know if he touched the floor in the second half.
I don't think he did. I thought quietly Mark Mitchell was really solid for them and came up with 2 huge rebounds there in the last minute of the game, really snatching them from Baycott, who obviously is an incredible rebounder.
Sure.
So those are the type of little plays that to some might not be that noticeable, but when it's winning time.
And in a grinded out type of game like this was, where every possession matters, those plays matter.
Do you want to speak on just the last minute, I would say, or I'll speak on it I'll speak on it from somebody watching it just objectively. Obviously, I'm not objective, but watching the Carolina, how it all went down. With Duke up 3, they came out of a timeout looking for a 3, which I didn't love, especially at home where you're going to you have time to get multiple possessions. And then ultimately that final shot that Caleb Love took on a little side wing ball screen after a flare reversal into a step up. We've talked a lot about him.
Ad nauseum.
He shoots the ball so nonchalantly that, he shoots like an NBA. He shoots like Steph Curry shooting 45% from 3. But when you're not Steph Curry and you're leaning and falling, and
it's not as high a possession game as the pros, as NBA
exactly.
is.
It's just your odds of making that shot get lower and lower. And I always say that I appreciate somebody that in a big moment is willing to take the shot.
For sure.
But he's got to figure out a way. I mean,
he shot 6, but it's like when you watch the game, you're just like, holy smokes! This feels like he shot way more.
He shoots some bad
crazy
ones.
Just like
coming
off. I'm just like, having played at Carolina, having watched him for so long, you just never see a guy really in college basketball, but especially at Carolina. We've talked about this, like we just said, but it still just amazes me. And it just like, I'm sure people throw so much shade, hate towards him, but if his teammates believe in him and the coaching staff is okay with him taking those shots, he's just doing his job. So we can say whatever we want, but clearly the staff and his teammates don't have a problem with it, I'm not on the team. If you was doing some dumb stuff, I'm not saying it's dumb, but if you was doing some, something I had an issue with though, but nobody's saying anything to him, so clearly they're okay with that.
I guess we don't know if any film sessions
for sure we don't
that
know.
They're going, Caleb.
Clearly they're not.
It's a terrible shot.
Clearly they're
you
not,
wouldn't
Ryan,
seem like it.
Yeah.
Well, what is very clear is that Hubert has nowhere else to go that he believes he can go to. I mean, Puff Johnson got 12 minutes, 1 shot, 2 rebounds.
Yeah.
Nobody else plays.
Yeah, nobody plays. The bench is non-existent.
And we talked about that at the beginning of the year. Is that something you want to develop? He might have decided, I'm not developing this because they're not good enough to play. That it could be. In a Duke Carolina game, they're not going to be in a position this year to help us win a game. But yeah, it was ugly. That was two ugly Duke Carolina games this year. Poor shooting. I mean, you can point to the physicality and guys playing tremendously hard, but ugh.
Yeah. I thought we had I thought we were gonna pull it out. Honestly, I was like, man, we're playing terrible.
Yeah.
I'm like, we have no choice, especially with this group, veteran leadership. I'm like, for sure.
And at home,
they'll find a way. And at the crib.
Yep.
I'm like, they will for sure find a way. But honestly, I had to turn the game off to walk to the gym, and I get there, and you got the camera all in my face. Like, how you feel? I'm like, I'm just trying to get ready, trying to put my shoes on, man, because I be professional, sir.
Yeah, right. Before we move on to the next part of the pod, next segment of the pod, taking a look back at the regular season and also what we have going forward, I think it's a perfect time here.
Pay the bills.
To get the bills paid. We've been saying all year, this couch is very empty. There's something on it now.
I know, man. We got some swag.
Some swag. So here's my first read right here.
From Manscaped, man.
From Manscaped.
If you can't tell.
Yeah.
Manscaped hit the line. We answered.
Hooked us up
on the other side of the world. So listen to my brother, what he got to say.
Support for the Better Blue podcast is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 7 million worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code
worldwide.
Better Blue Pod at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, that's about 14 million balls.
That's a lot of balls.
That's a lot of balls. And we've all had, some experience doing some grooming, I think, that, maybe not have gone well. May have clipped some things.
Don't use your older sister's razors.
Do not use your older sister's razors. And how I wish I had Manscaped to keep everything nice and clean. And I'm going to need to clean some things up here soon, certainly on the beard too. And they have all that on their website. So get 20% off and free shipping with the code BetterBluePod at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code BetterBluePod. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
We got to do it, baby. And we appreciate Manscaped.
Yeah, appreciate Manscaped.
So
appreciate all of you for using that code.
Like I said, man, we out here grinding, man. I gotta keep my phone on me. My apologies.
That's all right. It happens. So let's hit this little regular season roundup.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about ACC final standings, where we're at, where we started, where we're at. Obviously, when you start at the top.
Yeah, I mean, we started at the top. Started from the top. Now we here. Started preseason number 1. We had the ACC Player of the Year, Armando.
Yep.
Doesn't look like he'll be getting that. We'll be interested to see who does get that.
Very interesting because
it's not a clear-cut favorite by any means.
The kid from Wake Forest is leading the conference in scoring and assists, but they're 10-10 in the conference. I mean, maybe the Miami kid Wong. He's top.
I think he'll probably
8 in scoring. So, but anyway.
And then I'm not sure what Duke was favored, what they were predicted going into the season, but to go from, let's just talk about Carolina first, to go from number 1 to 7, I mean, tell me who's in front of us, if you don't mind.
Yep.
If you got it in front of you.
Miami winning it, Virginia, Duke, Clemson, Pittsburgh, NC State.
Yeah. That's tough. Even NC State, I mean, still going to hold that over our heads.
Oh, yeah. It will be interesting to see if they get in.
It's crazy. There was a time where we could have honestly finished at 500 or under 500. I mean, I'm just glad we were able to get over 500 in the conference.
Think about what you just said.
And the fact that we got a first round bye.
Yeah.
We were teetering.
Yeah.
We were teetering.
2 teams below you, 10-10, right there.
For sure. For sure.
Man, the bottom of the ACC is just really bad.
But Going to be interesting. Duke, they hung tight all season. They finished 14-6 in the conference. Usually that's not going to get you 4. Usually that's going to have you probably a little bit further down the line, but just in a down year for the ACC. I think we looked back and talked about it. I know when I was a part of teams that won the ACC, I think we lost the one year we only lost 2 games, and even my other 2 years when I was in school, we lost like 4, and we came in 3rd.
I think we need to rewrite
for sure
the script and say the ACC was so tough.
Yeah.
That we beat up on each other. Remember the Big East used to say that?
Yeah.
Like, we got so many good teams that we beat up on each other.
It's just the fact that you got teams like, Miami and even Clemson, and more so Clemson and Pitt, that just haven't been that good, that just came out of nowhere and, really surprised us. Louisville, nobody. I didn't see that coming.
No, or Notre Dame being
that bad. Florida State even. But let's get into man. Who cares, man? Nobody hung a banner. Nobody's happy. We in the same boat as y'all. So
true. We're in the NCAA tournament, no matter what. You're not.
but moving on.
So what would you grade? Let's.
You're right.
8F. Give me that. 8F.
ACC or regular season?
Let's talk ACC. Let's just talk.
Bro, ACC.
Well, let's just do whole thing.
D.
Regular season.
D. I ain't gonna say we failed, man. We're just. Oh man, we're teetering on failure here.
Yep.
A first round out, second round out, is really teetering on an F. I hate to say it.
I think if you don't make the tournament, you have to get
an
F.
Especially coming off of, the year that they had last year. Once again, we didn't ask to be ranked number 1 going into the season. Excuse me. We didn't ask. The media bestowed that upon us.
That's funny.
The media bestowed that upon us. But, to have the year that we've had, man, we just the train we never really got going.
I was just reminded when you said that Duke actually becomes the team that makes you the losingest, most losses for a preseason number 1. Remember I told you last week they were tied.
Yeah.
So that Duke loss now makes you the losingest.
They're gonna get another L, if not now, but
So what you're saying is you're creating a gap.
I'm just saying there could possibly be another
L. They might be untouchable, the number of losses for a preseason.
So they would have to basically win. Yeah, they would have to win the ACC tournament, and then win the national championship. Yeah.
It's gonna be rough.
That's gonna be tough. But let me say this, man. Even with that, I think the hardest part for me, right, to have gone through this tumultuous season, I hope I used that right.
You did.
Okay. It's just the fact that we didn't really win the championship last year. That's the hardest part, is that we came so close to winning it. And then you saw these guys band together in the offseason and say, hey, we're going to come back. We're going to try to, we understand what's in front of us, but, we're coming back on a mission, to really cement our legacy, to, put the jersey on for another year, represent the program. And it just was just so tough to just, and like I said earlier, these guys, they don't want to lose, clearly, but it just was hard because I felt like just time and time again, we could never get it together, man. And so here we are, losing. They lost on a Saturday night. You got to turn back around, and it's win or go home on a Wednesday. Maybe this is it. Who knows? Maybe this is all right, we got nothing. We have nothing to lose at this point. The season has already been such a just up and down roller coaster.
Yep.
It's at home. It's in Greensboro. We'll get into that a little bit later. But I would say, to answer your initial question, D, teetering on failure.
I just wonder if this is never going to come out. And I'm getting a little first takey here. Yeah. But if there was some insider and a book was written on this season,
a 30 for 30 would be nice.
Exactly. I'd be interested to see all that went on between the NIL stuff, the explosion success of past seasons and all the accomplishment of despite not winning, it was
because you got to think these guys had never experienced any success up until March of last year.
Yep.
And then they just like Bitcoin, boy, to the moon, them boys, and then they crashed.
Yep.
You know, I wonder. That's a great point, Ryan.
We'll never hear.
No, we'll never hear this.
There's been those we've talked about. We don't want to get into dumb Twitter rumors, but there have been little rumors of issues.
Definitely doesn't, from the outside looking in, doesn't look like a team that, just the camaraderie. I don't know. It doesn't ooze off the television.
It does not, but also it's easier to say that when it's been a rough year.
And hard, when you're not making shots, having fun, for sure.
Yep.
But you would just hope they would have just, put their flag in the ground sooner or later through this season and just kind of right the ship, but it just never it hasn't happened yet. And they got 4 days to get it together. But
I know it's harder to answer this question when again, it's been a disappointing year. But and I think this is probably everybody will have the same answer as you, but who's your MVP of this regular season?
Gotta go with Armando.
Has to.
He just was by far our most consistent player.
Yep.
What about you?
It has to be Armando.
Yeah, I would have to go with him. Past. I mean, he was bound. It was bound to have him past MJ on the all-time scoring list. I think that moved him to like 11th or 12th. Clearly, he holds numerous other records, double-doubles and rebounding record.
Just in retrospect, Armando, I think I sent you a clip or you sent me a clip, I believe, of an interview that surfaced from the beginning, pre the season starting.
Yeah, Jeff Goodman.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Jeff Goodman and an interview and him saying that one of the basically demands of Hubert, if he were to come back, is to become a three-point shooter, which he most certainly did not. No. Did not take them. I mean, he didn't make them, but he didn't take them.
Didn't take them.
Which leads me into the next. This is an impossible question, so you could just say no. I had on here a most improved player throughout the season, but I don't think you can even name one.
Yeah, there isn't one.
Yeah, especially with no bench no guy really stepping into a role of improvement.
That question.
Yeah, that's impossible.
I'm not watching practice, so I'm sure if I was, I could tell you somebody
that was like better. Me freshman year. By the end of the year, I'm not playing, and I'm like, I'm getting better. I'm challenging these guys. Yeah, that whole thing. All right, can I do my grade for Duke?
Please.
I'm sure you want to stop talking about Carolina. I would say Duke's season has we end the year not ranked. Maybe we won 6 straight, so maybe at this week, whenever the new rankings comes out, there's a chance because the top 25 has been so all over the place. So you can't give this team an A because they started out, what were they? They were top 10 or top 15 in the country. But we talked last week a little bit about the fact that with such a young roster, such a young team, you got to be in a better place at the end of the season than you were at the beginning, and unquestionably they are.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that's a testament to people figuring out their roles, healthy, and a leader like John to be able to get people to buy in even when things aren't going well, right? It would be very easy for Whitehead, for Lively to just be like, I'm done with this, mentally, and just, they're still probably going to get drafted. They could be like, I'm not in. So to have that's to me is a testament to John and his coaching ability and relationship building and all that. So I would give the season a B+.
Yeah, I was gonna say C+.
Wow,
C+. But you made great points, man.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a B. I ain't gonna give you a B+.
The thing I'll say, I'm stealing this from somebody, but this recruiting class was the number one recruiting class coming in, and that was the expectation. But it's easy to forget that this class and the previous class and potentially kind of this next class were all, but definitely this class and the previous class were COVID years.
Yeah, sure.
Like where the rankings, everything, nobody had a good idea of what players were really
kids weren't playing in the summer.
So when you look at a kid like Lively, who was number one in the class, look, he has talent, but you also would go, how was he number one in the class? And I just think this wasn't a number one class, really.
I get what you're saying.
And that was the expectation when the preseason rankings came out.
I mean, they're playing their best basketball at the right time.
Yep.
Can't be mad about that. I definitely can see how he's gotten his system. He's gotten the guys. They buy in. Guys got in foul trouble during this last game. Guys stepped up, played their roles. I wouldn't, count this as a huge celebration beating a team like Carolina at this point in time. But, still a win is a win is a win. So having seen where they came from earlier in the season, where they had KU on the ropes.
Yep.
Look what KU is. They're, might be going back to back this year. Top, I know they were number 3. They just lost to Texas, but still, they have definitely come a long way. And I think that goes to Coach Shire, his staff, but also the guys just trusting in him, even as a first year, commanding that respect. So it'll be really interesting to see how they finish, because they're, similar to Carolina, they've been kind of counted out, and who knows, they might get which is so rare to have both Carolina and Duke both. Carolina's going to be, if they make it, they'll be a super high seed, but Duke is probably looking at maybe a 6 through 8 seed.
By the way, if Carolina were to get in and be some high seed, can you imagine being that 2 or 3 seed that gets Carolina, even though it's not the same team?
For sure.
They're not that good,
for sure.
You still it's
still,
like the teams that go, if we got the Lakers,
twice, like, all right, we'll see who
the first round.
See who shows up. Yeah. That's March Madness though.
Yep.
That's why I'm like, you never know. Holding out hope. What about your MVP though for the season?
MVP was actually tough when I thought about this. My 2 options, I think, are K-Flip. And Jeremy Roach.
Yeah.
And while Filipowski has statistically been the best player,
leader,
I think Roach is the MVP of the team.
All right.
And I said at the beginning of the year that he needed to be the guy.
Yeah.
And there were definitely some fluctuations of that.
Yeah.
Like there were times when I didn't see that. And he didn't have a great game
No, he didn't.
Against Carolina. But in the moment at the end when they needed a bucket to put him up 3,
he had a nice layup.
He had a tough layup. I mean, I just think as the year has gone on, he's really proven to be the rock of the team. And I think literally in like the first or second pod, I said it doesn't mean he has to make all the shots. It doesn't mean he needs to be the leading scorer, but he's got to be the rock. And so for that reason, he's my MVP.
What about? I agree. I would go with that as well. Big fan of K-Flip, but I would agree with you on those points. What about most improved?
This one came down to either Proctor or Lively.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help that Lively ended up not really affecting the game a ton, though he did have 3 blocks in 19 minutes today. I think Proctor.
Yeah, Proctor. I've been a fan of him from day one, just because of his intangibles, what he brings to the game, his size, his decision making is so mature. He skipped his senior year.
Yep. He's a kid,
and he's coming from Sydney, Australia. That's got to be just crazy. Big culture shock going from Sydney to Durham, North Carolina.
He's one of those guys that I hope comes back.
Yeah.
I just hope
he could easily get, swayed into leaving, but I think his game and, I'm not going to be super happy to have to watch him play against Carolina, but I think he could definitely do with coming back.
So here's your path.
Talk to me.
You have that first round bye of the ACC tournament. You would play the winner of Boston College or Louisville, which I assume, considering how bad Louisville has been, will be Boston College in the 7-10 matchup. Ultimately, if you win that, you get to play a little rematch of this Virginia, which you've beaten already.
Yeah.
So there's confidence there.
And they don't scare me.
No.
They don't scare me at all.
I think my buddy the other day said they're they're just
even when we beat them the other day, I'm just like, man, they don't. It's not. You told me that. We talked about that. Like they don't come across as like the 6th seed, and the usual UVA team you would face.
We didn't even really go into a pod about how Duke got screwed at Virginia.
Yeah, that was
and
that was crazy.
That should have been a win for Duke as well.
Yeah.
Yep, and then you'd get
the winner of probably
Clemson and NC State most likely. I think you might want to see Clemson over NC State.
Yeah, honestly. My message to all the Tar Heel fans out there, if you don't mind.
Go for it, please.
Like to go into a little monologue here.
I'd love to hear it.
Before we talk about Duke's route. All hope is not lost, Ryan. All hope is not lost, Tar Heel Nation. We have a very favorable route to the ACC championship game. Would you agree? I believe so. I mean, you've watched us play all year. You've seen these other teams play all year.
I
think
do.
We very easily could get ourselves into the ACC championship game. Easily.
Here's my negative for you.
Please.
With that. Because it is such a favorable route, a BC or Louisville win doesn't help you to get into the tournament.
Right. I'm strictly talking at large. No, I'm strictly talking.
You have to win the tournament to get in.
That's what I mean.
The automatic
not
bid.
At large.
The automatic bid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cut that deal.
Yeah.
I'm strictly talking automatic bid here. ACC champions at the Greensboro Coliseum. It can be done, man.
Yep.
It can definitely be done. I played in 2 ACC championship games, lost both times. I think this team, with this route, should look at this really as the beginning of their NCAA tournament and be like, okay, we got time. We can almost, build our momentum going into, beat up on whoever you got to beat up on the first game, whether it's BC, who isn't a slouch, but come on, fellas. Come on, man. This is a home game. Come on, fellas. Don't have me looking bad on the podcast. And then you get UVA. And then after that, you would hope to get, at that point, it honestly doesn't matter. It would be nice to get NC State. That would basically be a neutral site game for both teams. I think that would be what's, most exciting to watch. And who wouldn't love to be able to match up against Duke one more time?
That would be awesome.
All that to say, we got to show up. I can't be there, man. I can't be there.
You're trying. You're reaching hard.
I can't
right
fly
now.
to Greensboro, man. But we got to show up for these guys one more time. Pack the Greensboro Coliseum. Come out, support them, and let's, why not? Let's make another run. All will be forgotten. Winning solves everything, fellas. Trust me. Kels, winning solves everything. These boys win the ACC tournament. They stamp. They good.
While you were monologuing there, I couldn't help but, in my head, I was just kind of.
No flashbacks from the other things I've said on this podcast.
No, I wasn't doing that.
Okay.
I was just thinking about the possibility of this podcast and how it would go if UNC.
Well, I would come here with champagne, bro.
No. That's not what I'm talking about.
If
UNC doesn't make the tournament and all we have to talk about is Duke basketball.
I'm going to be wearing the most random schools. Whoever they play against, I'm finding a University of Northern Nevada shirt. Let's go Catamounts. Whatever.
Oh, that would be funny.
Y'all got a tough route, man. I got y'all probably losing the Pitt, honestly.
Wow. A Pitt team that kind of had a bad loss at the end of the year.
Yeah. You can say what you want to say, but Miami's, I don't know. Y'all beat them at home. You got destroyed by them on the road. Regardless, I think in your heart of hearts, our route is easier to get to the ACC championship game. Miami, I mean, that shows you right there.
I think I would agree with that.
Now, once again, you guys are coming from Durham, so you're gonna have home court advantage. You guys are young. Something about being younger. Those kids are used to playing in these type of round robin, back to back type tournaments. They don't really, other than Roach, they're kind of like, hey, we got to,
let's hoop.
Let's hoop.
Yeah.
Let's lace them up. We just won 6 in a row. And similar to Carolina, but more so for y'all because you guys have a little bit more of a momentum going to this tournament. Hey, now we really got a chance to actually win 3 games and hang a banner.
Yep.
Why not?
Yeah.
So.
In the words of James Michael McAdoo, We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll
man.
see.
We've been saying that a lot this year for this Carolina team, man. It's going to be fun, though.
Yeah.
I'm excited. This is the best time of the year, bro. We know this. The fans know this. It's just tough because usually we're the ones doing the hunting. Now we're the ones being hunted. Now that we're the ones, that are going to have to be doing the hunting. So,
and I would much rather have the pressure of being a 1 or 2 seed.
Oh, for sure.
And I mean, you never want to lose that game, man, but you'd much rather be in that position than people would claim, oh, it's nice to have the pressure off.
No way, man.
Nope.
No way. Especially Carolina. This is like uncharted territory. Can't remember a team that has gone into the ACC tournament with the fact that they have to win to get in.
Well, you can't remember a team that's been this bad because they're the first team in history to have this many losses as preseason number 1. So, we've never seen a team like this.
Here we go.
Just keep hammering on, baby.
Here we go, baby. Here we go, man. Call your bookies, baby. Buy low. Buy low, fellas.
It's legal now. Gambling's legal now in most states.
Man, this was fun. Felt good to be back.
Yep.
We appreciate y'all. We hit 1K on YouTube. I'm just going to say that again. It was nice to see that tick over. We appreciate all the support. This has been a crazy year. We're far from done. March, this is what we've been looking forward to for completely different reasons than we thought way back at the beginning of the season. But here we are. Win or go home for Carolina. Duke has an interesting road ahead of them. Also, we won't record, but it'll be interesting to see after whatever happens with UNC. Like whenever I played for Coach Roy, we always had like selection Sunday party at his house. Like I wonder, like, are the guys? I mean, clear if they win, but even if, let's say they make it to the ACC championship game, are they just gonna? I wonder. Yeah, I wonder if you were to have them over to the house, or they just gonna be like, all right, guys, head on home and keep your phones on you. That'll be interesting. Just a little caveat.
Do they announce the NIT selections?
Oh, man, here you go. Give us a chance, man. Let us.
You want to bridge that gap when we get there?
We'll talk about that when we get there. Keep your phones on you, fellas.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all. Hit us in the mailbag. We haven't done a mailbag episode. betterbluepodcast@gmail.com. My brother Ryan Kelly on all platforms. Ryan Kelly 34. James McAdoo on all platforms. Again, we can't say thank you enough. Shout out to our wonderful producer, Devin.
The man.
I wore my Santa Cruz shirt. That's where me and Devin first met back when we were grinding down in the D League, making that minimum wage, man. Bro, they were paying us like $19,500 when I was
back
in the
then.
D
It was
League,
so
bro.
bad.
$19,000. I signed a contract. That junk said $19,500. I'm like, okay.
And people think there's a team in LA where like you can't even go to a movie.
We had Chipotle one night. Well, we thought we was doing it, me and wifey. Shout out to Lomax. She been with me since day one. Shout out to Lindsay. She been with you since
forever.
Way back in the day.
And all of them would hate it if we didn't say, hit that subscribe button down below.
Ring that bell. Dev, thank you. Go Heels.
Go Duke.
Good luck. We'll see.
GTHC. Peace.